And Dr. Amesh Adalja joins us now. He's an infection disease expert and a senior scholar at Johns Hopkins University Center for Health Security. Dr. Adalja, welcome. Great to see you. So a CDC advisory panel is meeting today to vote on recommendations for who will receive the first doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. What can we expect to hear from this meeting, and who will likely be the first recipients of the vaccine once it receives FDA approval?
What you'll likely see is a prioritization scheme where they will divide the population into different groups based on their risk for severe disease with COVID-19. Likely who are going to be at the top of the groups are going to be healthcare workers, high-risk individuals, perhaps nursing home residents, those who are elderly, those who have other comorbid conditions. Those are going to be the highest priority to get the vaccine. The aim of the vaccine is to decrease the impact of this pandemic, to give hospitals breathing room, and therefore giving it to individuals who are most likely to require hospitalizations or who work in hospitals are likely going to be the number one priority.
And if approved, Pfizer's vaccine will be released just a week ahead of Moderna's. Is there really a major difference between the two vaccines? For instance, are they both single dose, or does one require 2 doses? And will people get an option of which vaccine to take, or is it essentially a sort of first come, first served basis?
Both of these vaccines use very similar technologies. Both of these vaccines require 2 doses. The major difference is in logistics, because the Pfizer vaccine does have much more stringent cold storage requirements than the Moderna version. I do think that most people, for the person getting vaccinated, it's not going to make a difference which one you get. It's all about what's available in your area. Does your area have the cold storage facilities to be able to handle the Pfizer vaccine? And I would be happy to take either of these vaccines if it's offered to me.
Is the second dose part of this, though, an issue? Because with these sorts of temperatures, it's going to be hard enough to get to the first dose for some areas. And getting that second dose is an added complication, isn't it?
Anytime a vaccine takes more than 1 dose, it's always going to be logistically more difficult to deliver. Some people may not come back for the second dose because their arm was sore, or they had a reaction they didn't like, or they just forgot about it. So that is going to be an important thing, tracking people so that they come back and get the second dose, and making sure they get the second dose of the right vaccine if both vaccines are available in their area.
Right, that is tricky. Is there a single dose vaccine on the horizon that could eliminate the need for all of that?
There are some single-dose vaccines that are in development. The most notable one is being developed by Johnson & Johnson, but it is a little bit further behind in development. So our first vaccines are likely all going to be 2-dose vaccines.
All right, good to know. Doctor, hospitals nationwide, as you know, are running out of beds and ICU beds, to treat COVID-19 infected patients. After a vaccine does go into distribution, how long do you expect it to take to see some of these numbers finally subside? What will the delay be from the time the vaccine is in circulation to seeing the actual infection rate go down?
It's hard to know exactly, because remember, this vaccine isn't going to be available to everybody. It's going to come out in batches. I do think, though, when we get high-risk individuals, so for example, if we could vaccinate a good proportion of the nursing home population, you would see relief on hospitals. There's still going to be a lot of cases. Remember, younger people are not going to be among the first getting vaccinated, so this is going to continue to spread in the United States. It's just that we're going to see less hospitalizations as more and more of the vulnerable populations get vaccinated. So it is going to take some time for us to see this virus basically remove itself completely as a major threat. It's going to spread for a while with the vaccine, and that's why it's going to be important to remain vigilant, even when there are groups of the population who are vaccinated.
You make a very good point. We all kind of want to, let out our breath when we hear the vaccine is starting to be circulated, but that's still going to be a little too early, isn't it, Doctor?
Right. So it's just not the vaccine getting into a small proportion of the population that makes us all breathe a sigh of relief. It's when we get 70% of the population, for example, vaccinated, or when we get all nursing home patients vaccinated. That's when we can really say that this is no longer a public health threat. And that's going to take some time. It's going to probably be well into 2021 before we achieve herd immunity through the vaccine, or vaccinate enough of the vulnerable populations that hospitals no longer have to worry about capacity on a day-to-day basis.
All right, good point, and it's important for everyone to keep that in mind. Dr. Amesh Adalja, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.